Welcome to motherfucking Detroit, goddammit. What shit?
I'm here alone. If I screamed, who would hear me? Who would hear me if I screamed? Nobody. Nobody would hear me.
Her story touched the hearts of many. Tonight, a haunting update. You might remember Marabel, an elderly woman stranded. The last person on the street, her window shot out.
It started with a call for help to the problem solvers. She soon became the symbol of a city's plight. Since that story, many have wondered whatever happened to Marabel.
Fox News Brad Edwards live now in Detroit with a stunning follow-up. Brad?
Yeah, good evening, Hugh, and good evening, Monica. In death, she is still in limbo. It wasn't an easy answer to find. According to the Social Security Administration, she's still alive, though she is not. In August, we first highlighted her story eons ago, before a mayor became a con, when the big three were still big. Then the seasons changed, and she passed away. Passed away 4.5 months ago. And for 4.5 months, she's been here, unclaimed, at the morgue.
The terror in her voice.
I'm here alone. If I screamed, who would hear me?
Who will hear me cry for help?
Who would hear me if I screamed?
Nobody cares about her and her death. It's tragic.
Nobody. Nobody would hear me.
It started like so many.
Marabel Shannon.
A yelp for help.
You're my only salvation. I'm having a terrible lot of trouble out in the neighborhood. Shooting, drugs. No one is interested.
It's sad to think that her last days were spent terrified living in her own home.
Marabel Shannon died in December, the day after Christmas. A heart attack, the autopsy says. Her already broke heart apparently stopped. Dead for days when she was discovered, a month before she was 88, in the house she lived since 64. Gone, but not R.I.P. For months now, her body's been in cold storage on East Warren, the morgue. No next of kin, no one claimed her. The 5-foot, maybe 100-pound, huggable holdout, never married, never mothered. She stood alone, lived alone, died alone, and stays alone.
I cry a lot, yeah. I wonder why this happened to me. And look at that over there.
Where? Which one? The broken porch, the blight torched, the snapped hydrant, or the one that works where no one plays?
I don't sleep. I haven't slept a full night, and I don't know when. I don't know when I've slept a full night.
Since the story first aired last night on The Edge at 11, we have received dozens of emails and phone calls, people willing to help.
Her story brought me to tears.
Christine was one.
It just broke my heart to see that, you know, she was terrified to live her life.
Another, this is more than terrible. Another, tragic, unspeakably tragic. And yet another, when was the bombing? Her story bounded about the web. 7 months later, in April, a man named Phil, seen here, saw the story on YouTube from his Maryland office. He wrote, quote, "I just can't get it out of my mind. Wouldn't wish such a circumstance on my own enemy. It would put my heart at rest to know that there is a good end to this story. Sorry, Phil from Maryland. Sorry, Christine in Riverview."
It's disgusting. It really is. It's very sad to think that nobody cared about this lady to help her out when she was alive, and then nobody cares about her in her death. It's tragic.
Miss Shannon is destined for a pauper's grave, a hole in the ground in a county-bought box.
What do? You tell me. Give me a suggestion.
We tried to help. We talked and talked on the phone about her life, her favorite TV show, Sex and the City. Dozens offered her a place to live, but she said she couldn't yet move. She had too much stuff. Terrified solitude was all she really knew.
It's all empty. All the houses are empty. That's what scares me.
It's now all empty on her part of Robinwood. There's a hole where a house should be, and an RIP where a picture window goes. Her house has since been busted into. Where could such a place be? It's known as Detroit's North End, Robinwood, flanked by John R. and Woodward, a fire's lick away from the lauded Palmer Park. Robinwood's day has circled away. Marabel played a virtual Sybil when we spoke, speaking her epitaph 4 months before she died, and it means more 4 months after her death.
I'm here alone. If I screamed, who would hear me? Who would hear me if I screamed? Nobody. Nobody would hear me.
Marabel is now here once again on this evening with 35 others. All are unclaimed, no next of kin, no estate. The county used to pay for such burials, paupers' funerals as they called them. But now with the budget pinch so tight, they can no longer afford it, so they have to apply for funding from the state. They have applied for that funding, haven't received it yet, so Marabel is somewhere in that line of 35 waiting for a final farewell. Yul and Monica?
Well, Brad, based on the response to your first story, our viewers obviously care